Hey guys, it is 9:16 and I woke up at like 7:30 or 7:40. And then I wanted to just go back to bed, and so I just laid in bed and relaxed for another, I don't know, 40 minutes. And then I listened to two readings. One was like just a channel, and then the other was more of like tarot, but it was like channeled tarot, if that makes sense. But yeah, I I don't know. I've just been thinking about the idea of embodying the thing that you want in the current moment, if that makes sense. It's like, there's this idea that the only thing that ever is the moment. And oftentimes we project a specific future as, well, I can't have that now, but eventually I'll get it. Um, there's the thought of like saving. Like, I need to save, uh, like, I've been going through this thing where when I eat food, I don't know when it happened, but at some point in the past, um, I had learned the idea of saving the best for last. And when you do that, it's kind of like you're it's like an admittance to yourself that the current moment isn't as important as a future moment. And when you do that, you inherently take away some of the power with the present moment. So, what I've been doing is when I eat things, I just eat what I want to eat. And there's kind of something about eating your favorite part and then mixing it in between other parts that you maybe love, but that are like distinctly different from that favorite part. So I'll do an example with the that one garlic tofu place. I, the garlic tofu is why I go there. It's so good. But the steamed vegetables, it's like if I was to just eat all the garlic tofu at once, the pleasure I would have would kind of slowly dip down because there's no contrast. And it's the contrast between the vegetables and the tofu, between the rice and the sauce, where suddenly you eat a piece of tofu and there's a huge sense of like happiness that I feel and joy. And then I eat some of the vegetables and it like I also love the vegetables, but for a different reason. I love them because they are more subtle in their flavor. And that subtleness comes in and kind of washes away the tofu that I just had. And then when I go back and eat another slice of tofu or a little piece of tofu, I get the same level of like that first bite all over again, because I'm spacing out the thing I love as opposed to just saving it for the end. And it's like this perfect kind of back and forth between my favorite thing and then something that I do love, but that, again, has a different purpose. And in life, there's kind of like a contrast. I'm not saying you shouldn't just like do all the things you enjoy. That's not what I'm saying. But inevitably, there will be things that are less joyful because maybe it's just things you got to do. And those things, you may still enjoy them, but they're different from your favorite things that you like doing. And it's the contrast between those that really bring out the beauty in both. Where if you were just doing one or the other, you wouldn't be as happy. But because you're doing both, there's this balance to where you get to enjoy the favorite things more in each moment. And then the things that you enjoy less but you still like and you still enjoy, they're there as a backdrop that then helps you fall in love with the thing that you love the most, or the things that you love the most. And I think that's what's so beautiful about our existence, is this idea that we get to go through this back and forth between, we're not gonna consistently have this like high state, because the high state can't really be a high state without there being a lower state that you experience. And I'm not talking about vibration. I'm talking about like, an example, you do the laundry, or at least I assume, your laundry's being done in some way, or the dishes, or vacuuming, or whatever. These are things that you do, and when you do them, they're not necessarily your favorite thing. Maybe they have their own spot where you enjoy the peace and serenity while doing it, but it isn't the same level as doing your favorite hobby, or the same level as watching your favorite TV show, or the same level as eating your favorite food. And again, they serve the backdrop. Those quiet, peaceful moments are a different kind of joy. And and then and then we'll have certain situations where we'll come across some sort of conflict. And it may be a conflict in your work life, in your living situation, in whatever it is. It could be just at the store. It could be a guy cutting you off. It could be all sorts of things. I like using the cutting off thing because it's like something that just randomly happens sometimes. And when you see these not as inherently negative things, but as a different facet of life where, number one, it's like, okay, think about it this way. Number one, you're getting a potential lesson in whatever it is that you're dealing with that is like a struggle. Number two, it helps to contrast even more your enjoyable moments. And number three, it gives you an opportunity to prove to yourself where you're at in the moment. So it's like, these are all really positive things that can come out of something that you don't necessarily think of as something positive. You don't think of getting cut off in traffic as a positive. And we can go into more detail on like the deeper, darker stuff. But like my point is, like, if I hadn't felt the lows of depression and the suicide feeling, if I hadn't felt those, then feeling the utter peace and serenity within me, it's not that I wouldn't feel, happy about it, but I wouldn't have the contrast to understand that, like, this is such a blessing to have this inner peace. If you just started out with inner peace from the beginning, you wouldn't really truly understand how sacred and valuable it is. And this is why in life we have this contrast in this reality. And it makes for powerful the powerful ability to learn and grow and shape ourselves from someone who thinks they have no power into someone who knows they have power, and that no one can take what you don't want to give them. It's impossible. Think about every situation you've ever been in. Even the hardest moments. And if you really look at it, there's going to be a moment where you give something to someone else. So I'll give you an example. We'll say someone breaks into your house and steals your TV. You think, that guy stole something from me. You don't think that you gave the person the TV, right? So you're like, okay, well, aren't you disproving exactly what I'm talking about? The person coming in and stealing the TV, obviously you didn't give them the TV. But the thought after on how you react to the TV being gone, that is the thing you are giving away. And you don't really realize it at the time. It's the reaction. It's the thing that seems so natural. And we don't even really think about the reaction as giving, but that's what it is. And so you have to choose what your reaction will be. Jesus, that scared me. I like jumped a little. I didn't expect that. I was so in the tank. But so, like an example right there. What I just did, that was a reaction where I heard a noise, I jumped, and then I immediately said, wow, that scared me. That is me giving some sort of power over my internal feelings towards an inanimate object in my phone, where a random noise can elicit a fear response. It's this that we have to work on, because you saw it was very immediate. I didn't even like think about it. It was just my innate response. You can change the innate response. Obviously I'm still working on it, but the point is you dictate what the response is. And if you don't think that you do, this is where you have to start. You have to realize you have full control over yourself. And when you react without thinking, or without really, like, you can train yourself to react differently, the way you want to react, rather than the way society has taught you to react, or the way your family has taught you to react, or your friends, or your work. And it's this part that is so important, because that is where your power is. That's your power. It's not about physically wielding something. It's not about being stronger or bigger or faster. No, it's about the reactions you have to whatever shows up in your life. That's where you have the power. And when you realize that your power, no one can take that from you. No one can make you react a certain way. They can try. Think about the people who are not ticklish. You try to tickle them. You try to get a reaction. You try to get a specific response. And they just stare at you and look at you. And they're like, yeah, I'm not ticklish. It's so matter of fact. There's no question in their mind whether they are or are not ticklish. And no matter what the other person does, they can't elicit the response that they want. This is where your power resides. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can start using your power in a way that makes you happy, in a way that gives you internal peace, in a way that gives you love. And it really, it's really something that most people don't really even think about. Why? Well, we're not, if we know we have power and that no one can take our power away, well, then all of the conditioning and the programming and the brainwashing and all of this stuff, the manipulation, well, it doesn't work suddenly because you have power and they can't take it away. It's only when they make you think that you don't have any power, that's when they can start taking things from you. But it's not taking, it's you giving away that power to someone else and saying, yeah, you can do what you want with me. If you say no, you cannot do what you want with me, well, sure, they can do in the most drastic sense, yeah, they could like torture you or whatever, but like it's just your physical body. And they want a response. The torturers want a response. And you don't have to give them a response. You can choose to, but again, you're giving. They're not taking. They're trying to take, but they don't even realize, or maybe they do, that they can't take what you won't give. It's kind of, going back to the stealing thing. If you view something as being stolen, whether it be a physical object, some sort of experience, a job, a life, a career, a loved one, you're ceding the power to someone else. You're saying, I don't have the power to live the life I want. I don't have the power to have the experience I want. I don't have the power to have whatever. You do. You do have the power. So why are you giving it to someone else or something else? You don't have to give the power to anyone. And as soon as you realize this, and realize that at the end of the day, your focus, wherever you shift it to, this is where you're giving your power. Wherever you react, this is you giving your power. So, give your power responsibly. It's like money. It's a currency. As you give this power out in whatever creative aspect you want to do, or in whatever pursuit you're doing, you are consciously focusing on something and then giving power to that thing. And that's fine. That's why we are creative. We can give part of our power to a creation, and that's what makes it come alive, and people become in awe of this creation that you've made, because there's a part of you that you're kind of allowing to be in this piece. It's an expression of you. And yeah. And it doesn't have to be like art in the traditional sense. It can be about a specific type of job you do, where maybe you just have so much pride in the job you do that you put your heart and soul into the job, and people can see it. And they're like, wow, there's like a level of care there. I've seen customer service people working, random jobs where when I interact with them, it's like you can tell their focus and attention and love and care are all wrapped around what they do for people. And they love what they do. That's it. That's them using their power the way they love to do. They're not giving it to negative beliefs or everyone's a scumbag, so I don't really have to try. Imagine interacting with someone like that. Like, it's going to be a totally different experience than someone who loves and cares for you because they see the good in you. They want you to smile. They're excited to be someone to help. And it can be anywhere. It can be even something as simple as like accounting or coding or these like engineering. It's these things where it's like maybe you don't necessarily see where the love can come from, but it's in how you manage the books with accounting. Are you checking every single possible scenario when you're like looking through the books, or are you just perfunctorily just like, oh yeah, whatever? When you're writing code, do you write code that you're proud to show other people, or do you write garbage that just gets the job done really fast? It's this level where taking pride in what you focus on, taking pride in the fact that you are choosing to use your power to create something or do something that you love doing. And if you're currently doing something where you don't feel that, I mean, that's sign enough that you're doing the wrong thing. And maybe you started off where maybe you felt the passion in the beginning, but now it's like, okay, you don't feel it. So why? Why don't you feel it? What about it is not passionate for you? And what can you do to change that? Because I'll tell you, we can do a job and hate the job. But we can also do that same job. Maybe you don't have the same creative spark with the job that you would something else that you like doing. But it doesn't mean that you have to hate the job. The hatred is just a mindset because you don't see the value in whatever you're doing. And so this is where you have to change the way you interact with the job, the way you see the job. And obviously sometimes it's just best to just leave the job, right? Like if you're in an abusive situation where like your boss is an asshole and like blah 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 whatever, like yeah, you probably shouldn't be there. You should stand up for yourself and have some courage to say, I don't deserve to be treated this way, right? But for those who are kind of more in like it's a good job and it's like intellectually comfortable, but it's not my passion, well, why didn't you follow your passion? Sorry, I kind of knocked the thing. Why didn't you follow your passion? What's stopping you? And if the answer is, well, I need money and, this makes sense and, right now, like, I can't really, like, actually change my situation in terms of, like, I kind of just need the job at the moment. Okay, well, start small. Try and figure out like what you can do that can ignite your passion, and then slowly work towards fulfilling yourself through that passion and try and make a career out of it. Sorry, I was just my words kind of stumbled a little bit there. But yeah, make a career out of it. Like if it's something where you're like, how am I gonna be able to make a career out of playing with Legos? Listen, there are whole channels dedicated to building Legos and like showing off cool creations. Is that something that's gonna give you money immediately? Well, probably not. Like maybe you hit it really big with a video, but like, that's one avenue. You can try and get a job at Lego. Maybe your passion is like, man, I wish there was these sets of Lego. And so you go in and you say, hey, I want to work with you guys. I want to make Lego sets. What's stopping you from doing that? If you love like a sport, I mean, not everyone can be a professional sports player, but you sure as hell could be a coach, or you could be, a trainer or a whatever. Like the options are out there. It's your limiting belief that has decided, well, this is all I can do. Again, you're giving your power over and giving it away. That's what you're doing. No one is taking from you. No one is forcing you to do something. You're deciding that this is the only option. You're not looking outside the box that you put yourself in. But there are other boxes. And then, if you're really bold, you can just not be in a box and just float around. And that's scary, but it's rewarding in its own way. When you're not fit in a box, that means you could do anything at any point. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just so important to realize how much power you have in your life, even when it feels like you're powerless. We talk about like I've talked in the past about people who are in jail. That's like one of the best examples of, well, what am I supposed to do? I can't go out and get a job. I can't go out and do stuff. Yeah, I know. Like you're in prison right now for whatever reason. And but you get to choose what you do in prison. Obviously within your means. Like you obviously don't get to choose. There's a lot that's chosen for you, right? But the internals is still your choice. You can think of prison as a cage. You can also think of prison as a cave for you to hermit up and really let go of all the external stuff and focus in on healing things that made you made choices that got you there. Again, it's you still have your power. Are you going to make the most of the situation you're in, regardless of where it is? Or are you going to let that situation dictate what you're giving away? Even in the moments that feel awful, you can't give up hope in yourself. And you can't, you don't need to give away everything that you are just because you're going through something tough. So yeah. Anyway, we can do the I got my daily notebook. So I figured we can talk about the dream stuff. Okay. I don't know if anyone knows Bashar. He's like a channeler for this, there's a guy named Daryl, I think. And he's a channeler for a guy named Bashar, which is like, it's a whole thing. But I had watched a brief kind of interview he had. Well, I say brief, it was an hour. But I always 2x speed most things because I don't know. My brain just works really fast. So 2x speed feels right most of the time. There are some people like XQC where I'm like, I can't 2x speed him. He's already talking really fast. But most people I can kind of 2x speed and it's totally fine. But anyway, my point was he just showed up in one of my dreams. We were like sitting down having a conversation. So I don't really know how to spell his name. Oh, Darryl. Anka. Daryl Anka. Okay. So I'm gonna look him up on the it's not with a D. Okay, it's Bashar with an A. Like Bash and then AR. Okay. So, let us... I'm going to just pull this over here so I can actually see what's going on here. Alright, so what is the meaning behind the name? Darryl. Daryl. Okay, well that doesn't help me. A variant of the spelling of Daryl, okay. From English surname that was derived from French, originally denoting one who came from France. Okay, I guess is there like a root? Okay. comments. No. I don't understand how behind the name really even helps. Like, I don't understand. So I guess I will just do meeting. Meeting. An important meeting represents feelings of being obligated to participate, listen, or share with others. It may also reflect your attempt to learn, to integrate various aspects of yourself, learning about everything that is most important at once. It definitely didn't feel negative, so I'm not going to read the negative one. To dream of meeting someone for the first time represents new experiences. Positively, it may reflect new confidence or luck you are feeling. Okay. So this idea of learning about everything that is most important at once, that definitely resonates. So I think that first message was like, learning about everything that is important. Oh, most important. Most important at once. Yeah, because I mean, I literally did the whole pillar thing. I felt like, in a weird way, I was kind of wondering if maybe, because he had mentioned on the podcast that before he meets and interacts with someone, spiritually, he kind of like interacts with them in their dream, where like Bashar, before interacting, will like come in and talk in the dream. And I thought that was really interesting that immediately like Bashar shows up. So who knows? Man, what wouldn't that be wild if I just randomly ran into Daryl like while just doing my daily stuff? That would be interesting. I'm gonna let it open. I'll be open. There was a part of my mind that was like, and I'm like, whoa, slow your roll. Let's not write off anything. So okay, so I won't write it off. Right. So a gathering. I had a gathering in the second dream. Gathering. Dream of people gathering represents feelings about various aspects of your personality coming together. Cooperative intentions, partnerships, feeling supported, group thinking, different mindsets, brainstorming, feeling the numerous things that are happening at once. Negatively, people... Now, I will say, this first part of the dream felt a little negative, and then afterwards, there was like this positive shift where it was like, in the first part of the dream, we were talking, and I felt a little awkward and not myself. And then, I don't know, there was something about, like, I had, like, eaten something, and then I was talking, and they're like, hey, you can't, like, don't talk with your mouth full while you're eating. It's gross. And then, at some point, this woman just, like, that was a part of the group, sitting on the other side, looks at me. We start talking about cheese randomly. Where, like, she's like, I am an expert in cheese. And I'm like, great, because I love cheese. And I'm like, she's like, I can name any cheese that you like. I can tell. It's like there's like a sense that she had for cheese. And I was like, okay, well, what about fake cheese? She's like, yeah, I could probably do fake cheese too. And then she decided to switch seats and sat next to me. And then we started having an animated conversation. And kind of everyone else just kind of fucked off. Like, not literally, but like, they were there, but they no longer mattered. It was just me and her, like, interacting about this cheese thing. Um, yeah. So, so I think there was like a little bit of that negative stuff in the beginning, maybe. Or I guess I'll do awkward after this. Because overall it was fine. It was just I felt awkward. Um but anyway, negative people gathering in a dream may reflect feelings about peer pressure or confronting multiple problems at once, feeling overwhelmed by obligations, feeling ganged up on, feeling that too much is happening at once. To dream of gathering objects. Okay, I didn't do that. Okay, so maybe feeling initially overwhelmed, but then as soon as I focused in on one specific thing, it was fine, which is actually really important. Wait a minute. Okay, so feeling overwhelmed when looking at everything I want to accomplish, but as soon as I focused on a specific concept / idea, everything was fine. Okay, so that actually is really helpful, because what that says to me is, oh, I guess I still have to look up the cheese, and then, let's see, cheese. To dream of cheese represents feelings about an experience that's easy, about deserving to be more interesting than you usually have. What? Did that sound like a real sentence? To dream of cheese represents feelings about an experience that's easy, about deserving to be more interesting than you usually have. What a fucked up sentence that was. Holy crap. I don't even know what that's trying to say. Okay, so I'll skip and hopefully feelings of ease and deserving of an experience being more interesting than usual, as long as you control yourself or don't go overboard. Okay. That makes sense. The feeling of being a little better off than you already were, with comfort or ease. Feelings about gains or profit. Ease and comfort that acknowledges the importance of moderation. Feeling comfortably better off than normal. Feeling better off because something more interesting has happened. Well, the cheese was very positive, so I'm not going to do the negative. Refined cheeses. We were just talking about cheese, so didn't feel refined. Okay, so so there's ease with an experience and being better off so long as I do things in moderation. Okay. I think we looked up woman in the past, right? She specifically was dressed gothic, so maybe I'm supposed to look up gothic. Right, I forgot. So women in dreams represent feminine personality traits that are passive, sympathetic, receptive, sensitive, nurturing, intuitive, creative, or giving. Um, this definitely felt receptive. Nurturing. Yeah. Receptive and nurturing, I think, are the two. So let's look up goth or gothic. Gothic people. Oh wow, that's an actual thing. To dream of gothic people represents aspects of your personality with a mindset that is dark, depressing, and unconventional. Fascination or enjoyment of what? Fascination or enjoyment with the dark side of life. I just had to remove the of. It was just fucking me up. It wasn't negative. So I think I kind of resonate with the unconventional. I don't know if I necessarily what's dark about maybe getting in touch more with that, like, yeah, okay, I think I got something. Being in touch with the, in quotes, darker side of me and enjoying all aspects of myself. Because I kind of feel like it's more hinting at maybe like my, like, more integrating myself fully. It's not that I push away the darker side of stuff, but it's more like I've already kind of alchemized that side to being more positive. But yeah, like, oh, I guess when I was talking about, like, okay, this literally is what I was talking about earlier, where the things that are less positive inherently that we think of as less positive set the groundwork for all of the happy, like, enjoyable things to be better because of the contrast. And so I think this is actually pointing at me seeing how great the contrast is, and that we need this contrast in order to truly enjoy everything. Okay. Cool. Okay. The contrast between quotes dark and quotes light make the world better to live in. Okay, cool. I think yeah, that's good. All right, so that's done. I think that there is something to be said about, like, there's literally, I was thinking about this. There's this cosmic horror that there was a channel that I had watched a while ago where he kind of goes through, like, different random stuff, and he was doing a whole Cthulhu series on, like, cosmic horrors for a while. And one of the horrors was the idea of bliss for eternity. And this doesn't sound scary until you realize that if you're in a constant state of bliss for all eternity, it's like there's this, like, I don't know how he described it, because it's been a while since I watched it. Let me look it up again. Is that cosmic horror bliss? The only thing scarier than cosmic horror is bliss. Here we go. It's Tail Foundry. That's the channel, and that was the video. The video is called "The Only Thing Scarier Than Cosmic Horror." That was it. Oh, it was a year ago. Okay. I'm not gonna really be able to do it justice, so I guess, like, you know, if you're interested in it, go look up Tail Foundry and check out the video "The Only Thing Scarier Than Cosmic Horror." It really, like, the video really did give me a, like, new perspective on something where it's like, you know, really too much of a good thing can really, like, fuck you up. And there's a, it kind of ties in to the idea that, like, we need the contrast. You can't just have bliss. You think you want just bliss. You do not want just bliss. So yeah. But anyway, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Man, we're at 59 minutes. Oh my gosh, today is going to be a long one for you. We'll see what the other parts of the video will be like, but, you know, okay. All right, adios, bye. Hello, it is 1:46, And I I totally forgot to get what's it called? Um Tofu. I was going to go down there and start making my normal food, and then I'm just like I forgot tofu. I get it from one place because it's cheap over there and it's good. So I kind of like ignored it for a little bit. I'm like, well, I'm not that hungry yet, and I still got time. And then I just started working on cleaning. I have a bunch of Warhammer stuff. There's 3 boxes, two like fishing tackle boxes, and then some other smaller boxes of like uh it's a combination of like cards, which reminds me I still got some cards that I need to put in that card box, but I got cards, and then I have all my Warhammer stuff. I had Lord of the Rings stuff, or I have. Um, some like Heroscape stuff. It's like hexagonal stuff. I don't know. You build the board with these hexagonal pieces, and then you play, and there's stats and stuff. I never actually played. I just used it as like D&D material to allow for like fun D&D encounters in the past. But yeah, just all of this stuff, and I'm not using it. I I probably could sell it for, $500-$600, whatever. Like all of it together. But I don't know. I I kind of just want to donate it. Um and there's a buddy who basically like works at a card store slash like just he's been a really good guy. Um Very supportive, very much like I don't know. I don't know why I haven't really hung out with him more, but I think it's just because we don't have really like the things I do and the things he does just don't really coincide, so maybe that's why. But anyway, so I sent him a message, which I guess I'll check. I haven't looked in a while. Yeah, he hasn't responded yet. But yeah, so I sent him a message saying, "Hey, do you just want this stuff? And if you don't want it, does the card store want it? Or what?" It's like not even. It's kind of a card store, but it's also like Warhammer and other games and board games and all of that stuff. So, um, because I'm sure the card store would take it, but I don't know. It feels a little worse giving it to the card store, which are probably just going to sell it. So if my friend wants it, that feels a little bit better than just donating it to the card store. I mean, to be fair, the card store has been really good to me, so like I don't mind, but yeah. Anyway, so I did that. I piled it all together. I'm kind of waiting on his response to see what I'm gonna do with it. But I've kind of already like let go of it in my head and in my heart of like I said in my head and I go to my heart. And then I started getting really hungry and I'm like I just don't feel like I have the energy to like do anything at the moment, and I know it's because I haven't eaten anything and I've been letting a lot of stuff go. So I'm like, well, I'll just DoorDash something, which is like I haven't done that since like January. So I don't know. Part of me feels a little bit embarrassed that I did it. I did it, and I have food right here. But like, um, yeah. And then part of me was like, oh, I should not like do a video on it and then eat the food and then do the video later because I have like a meeting coming up in like 35 minutes or 40 minutes. So I was trying to convince myself, and I think it's just because I'm embarrassed that I like did DoorDash. And I'm like, I shouldn't be embarrassed. Some days, like, it's just more convenient. I'm not. It's not something I'm gonna do consistently, right? Uh, I've had that era. But like, if I DoorDash every couple months, it's not a big deal. Um, it would be a big deal if I started doing it consistently. Uh, which is why after I do my meeting, I'm gonna make sure to go and get the tofu so that I'm prepared for tomorrow. It literally just spaced. I used the last tofu yesterday, so um, but anyway, I'll show you. I got rice and curry, and then I got some like these vegetable like little croquettes, and oh my gosh, why'd they staple this shut? My goodness. Okay. And then a little thing of fries. Those are good fries. This is probably going to be the, like, I might have, like, an orange or something later, but this is probably all I'm going to eat for today. So, whatever. But, yeah. So, as I felt that, like, embarrassment, I'm like, okay, well, this is definitely something I have to talk about then because I'm embarrassed about it. So, yep. Um, anyway, I'm going to cut this pretty short relative to, like, the rest of my videos. But, oh, the other thing I've been doing, which is the main, like, this is the other thing. I went through my Patreon subscriptions and I removed them all aside from there's one there's one reader that does extra readings that I really resonate with, and so I'm subscribed to the person's Patreon. But other than that, I removed all the other stuff. Like, I was like subscribed to like Trash Taste, Will of the Council, a bunch of different books. So I just removed them all. And then I'm actually very proud of this. So I had like it was like 600 or 700 subscriptions on YouTube. Now, obviously they don't actually, like, you're not paying for anything with the subscriptions. And all the membership, I don't have any memberships on YouTube. But so I started going through and I'm at, I think it's E. Let me look. Yeah, E. So I've gone from Z all the way up to F, and I've unsubscribed to everything that like I no longer care about or no longer is a part of like my stuff. And as I was doing it, it felt really good to just let go of like past channels. Like, there was a bunch of channels of like actual dead people that I really enjoyed at the time, like Wreckful and Total Biscuit as two examples where it's like they meant a lot to me back then. I obviously like I still care about them conceptually, but like they don't make content because they're not alive anymore. Um, and yeah, so I unsubscribed from them and unsubscribed from other channels as well. Some of which just I don't even remember why I subscribed to them. Others, like a lot of the VTubers, it's like that was an era. And I just don't watch them anymore. So being subscribed to them is like still leaving part of my energy with them. And so that's that's what I've been doing. And I'm gonna finish doing the rest of. I don't have much left. It's E through A that I have left. Um, so once I do that, then maybe I'll do a little more refining of like, okay, the stuff that I still held on to, am I actually watching them? And if I am, then great. But if I'm not, whatever. So I also need to do that for my playlists. I have a bunch of bookmarked playlists of stuff that like doesn't really matter. It mattered at the time. Same with my like unwatched or like watch later stuff. I have like 800 watch later things I should just remove. But yeah, and it's like clearing the space, clearing my like internal stuff through these like small attachments. And I also had a thought of like, oh, maybe I should do that with my just the different sites that I have like stuff on, like a profile on or whatever. If I don't use it, I probably should just close the account. Uh, because it's like I have a list, so it'll be pretty easy to just go through the list and just see like, okay, well, what am I using? Um, and yeah, I think it's a big deal. It seems like very small action, but like, I went to each channel, I looked at it, and then I unsubscribed. So it's like a final send off to the channel. I don't know if there's a better way of unsubscribing to stuff. That's fine. I don't care. Doing it this way is like, there's more intentionality with it for me. So, yeah. But yeah, after I do the meeting, I'm gonna go pick up the tofu. I'm also gonna go do some sort of activity. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but maybe it'll be walking. There's the mall that I wanted to go to. Oh, right, I was gonna hang out with my friend today. I guess contacting him and seeing what he wants to do. Maybe he'll want to go for like a walk in a mall or something. And we can just chat while we walk. Good activity. But anyway, yeah, I guess you'll know in a couple seconds what happened. So I guess I will talk to you later. Bye. Hello, it is 12:08. I'm gonna make this a short one just because I'm really tired and I want to go to bed. And I need to wake up pretty early tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna do the gym before. I might not. I might go pick up my roommate's friend from the airport, and then maybe go to the gym. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see how the day plays out. But I was kind of I'll just say I was kind of worried going in. Because I wasn't really sure. Now that my roommate kind of had some time to like think about like kind of my changes and kind of what was going on, I was just worried that maybe there would be some issue, but like I don't know. I think he actually subconsciously kind of understands. I kind of talked to him about energy, and like how my vibration changed, and that's where a lot of the subconscious like anxiety and like disconnect is coming in. And yeah, like, I still, like I've said this whole time, I still love and care about all my roommates, right? And um yeah, it's just kind of, it's hard because I just don't fit in the space anymore. And it's, no one did anything wrong. Um and sometimes it's just really hard because it's like, it was actually so, he brought it up and I didn't even think about it. He immediately could feel the difference on like an energy level. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's actually like, when he pointed that out, I was like, oh wow, he actually is like way more intuitive on like energy than I initially like thought about. Um, and I probably could have handled it better about like how I brought everything up, but I felt, um, because I care about him so much, I felt it was in his best interest to know about it sooner so that he has more time to process. Um, and yeah, I just, I do feel bad because it's like, you know, uh, I feel like we've really bonded over like the couple years that we've kind of lived together, and yeah, I'm totally gonna miss our like dynamic that we've had. And we're still friends. It's just I'm not gonna be here physically. Doesn't mean that I won't like interact with him and talk to him and tell him about stuff, but I just like I just feel this calling, and the closer I get, the more I realize I'm probably going to be traveling a lot. I don't think I'm actually going to be tied down to a specific place. Or maybe I might have a home base. I don't know. Like, I don't know how it's going to show up. Um, and yeah, so it's kind of like, he mentioned like, what are you going to do with the like random heavy objects that I have? And I'm like, I don't know, like infrastructure and whatnot. I'm like, I'm probably just gonna leave it here. Like, no point in like I don't see why I wouldn't. Like, yeah, I don't care. I can just give them to him. Like, it's fine. Um, but that's not even really like currently. I'm still doing the like cleaning of all the physical stuff. Oh, I will say I did in fact clean my YouTube, and I'm down to 28 YouTube like subscriptions, which is huge, you know. Um, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, it I also didn't eat anything after. My stomach just felt really bloated. I think it was because the food that I ate kind of was a little bit too spicy for my stomach. Like I got it at a 1, which is the lowest I could pick. So, I mean, I think it's actually spicier than it normally is because I asked for a 0. So, you know, my stomach can't really handle spices very well. Um, at least at the moment. Not saying that it can't in the future, but spicy things tend to. Ugh, it's just it's a whole thing. But yeah. So I don't know. I'm really glad that things kind of turned out the way they did because you know like I've been saying this whole time, everyone's at the part of the path that they're on. And I know this is not just a roommate thing. This is like, you know, like my sister, she's kind of on a part of her path. My other friends, like, most of them just don't understand, and they won't really get it, and that's okay. Um, and honestly, the more I kind of think about it, the more I'm like, okay, I think the roommate that I just picked up, I think maybe he gets it the most, which is like totally the opposite of what I thought was going to happen, to be honest. And I think that's in the best possible light, where it's like, I think he's made some really awesome growth and shown like some really awesome sides of himself. He's really, I can see that he's moving forward in ways where he's realizing that he can do the things he loves and be successful because he's very good at what he does. And so yeah, I think yeah, I just think that everything kind of went really well, and I'm looking forward to just seeing how things progress. I'm gonna continue with my 5 pillars. I'm gonna see about the potential thing. I mentioned it in in a different in a different video, but I don't know. I just obviously I am going to be sad. There's like a part of me that's going to be sad because this has been a very peaceful time for me. And going into the unknown with basically no plan. It's like the New York trip, but like times 1,000, right? Um, that's scary. But I did the New York trip, and I think I'm gonna have maybe a couple of other trips between now and like when the big stuff happens, whatever the big stuff looks like, right? Um, so yeah, I think I'm just planting the seeds that are gonna sprout in the next couple months, and just being myself, continuing to work on the pillars, and yeah. Oh, also, my it'll come in a couple days. So maybe I'll do. I've been wanting to do a like a mention more formally. I don't even know if I talked about this specifically, but both the profile picture and the like banner were done by the same artist, and she's really awesome. I want to do like a shout out for her at some point, uh, because I commissioned the work and had like a vision, and she really delivered on the vision. So, shouting out her would be nice. And then the art that I just commissioned that you guys don't know about yet. Well, you know about it, but you don't know about what it's going to be. It came out so good. I'm looking at it because it's my background for my computer now, and it looks so good. Like, I'm so pleased with it. And So I'm getting a disc plate of it. And then once I get the disc plate, I'll be able to, I'm going to show it off. Maybe I'll just make a separate video. So I'm thinking I'll probably make a video for like shouting out the two artists. Maybe I'll make them separate just because I think they each deserve their own video. But either way, both artists very good for different reasons. And I've been very pleased with the art that I've gotten to set up the channel. So, yeah. But I think what I'll do is when I get the disc plate, I'll just do both videos at the same time. And theoretically, that'll come out before this video. So theoretically, by the time this video is posted, it'll be up. So I guess, future Tom, if you haven't done those videos yet, you need to do them. Because I know you watch every video. So, past Tom is talking to you. Yeah. Anyway. Tomorrow's going to be kind of a little hectic. We'll just see. Because I got a lot of stuff I want to do before the Portland stuff on Thursday. Oh my god, I thought tomorrow was Friday. Jesus, okay. Tomorrow's Wednesday. And then Thursday is the Portland, and then Friday is the haircut. Right, okay. I think that changes things a little bit. I'll just talk to my roommate tomorrow because I think maybe he also thought tomorrow was Thursday, or maybe there was a miscommunication. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, Jesus, I try to make these short, and it's like I'm 14 minutes in. It's like, oh my god, I just can talk for so long, which I guess is a good thing because that's kind of my shtick, as it were. So if I couldn't talk for a very long time, then I'd be in trouble. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. Have a good night. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.